Carver and Cuthbert with you. Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. It's a Wednesday. We are back here, the midweeker, down in Long Beach. Love winters down in Long Beach. It's just great. Love being at Borrelli's.
Don't feel like winter today, buddy.
I don't know. It's maybe it's just because I wear a jacket. It's a little cold out. I mean, it's a little winter feel.
Spring is in the air.
Spring is, I guess you want to say spring is in the air.
Dog walkers are out again.
That's all fine and good. The dog walkers are always out. It doesn't matter. We got a lot to do today. Of course, NFL heads to the divisional round this weekend. 8 teams left. Talk about what we saw over the wild card weekend. We've got lots of head coaching news, including the New York Football Giants, who have their big fish in the house today. And we will see if they are able to reel him in while he is there. That, of course, being John Harbaugh, meeting at the Giant facilities. We'll discuss there. Well, there's another opening now, and it's a rare opening. When a team's only had 3 coaches in like the last 60 years, it's pretty rare that they're available. And the Pittsburgh Steelers job is now as Mike Tomlin leaves. So we have a lot of football on and off the field to discuss. We now know Miami and Indiana will play for the college football national title on Monday night down in South Beach. We've got lots of pucks to do as Rangers home tonight for the Senators. The Fire Drury chants continue to rain down from the used to be the blue seats, and now they're, what do they call those seats now up there? The bridge seats, I guess they call those up there.
Faraway seats.
The faraway seats.
Still very expensive faraway.
2 worst teams in the East, the Rangers and the Senators tonight at the Garden. Islanders lost a game in Winnipeg last night. Crazy game. We've got all that. We got some hoops too. Knicks are out west as they're in Sacramento tonight against the Kings. So we do have a lot of things going on for us here on Go Sports Radio. Mike Carver with you, along with Paul Cuthbert. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Good afternoon, Michael. Beautiful day here in Long Beach.
It is
getting
a beautiful
nice.
day.
I think winter's
beautiful
over.
day.
I really do. I think it's over.
Yeah, you wish.
I'm all for it. So how you doing? How was your weekend? Did you get everything in that you wanted to get in?
I did.
In and around the games?
I did, actually. Got all the Christmas stuff down.
Yes, me too.
Got everything done. Was good to go. Got it, all those things separated around, and I was able to watch pretty much all of the games, which is also a pretty rare thing for me. In and out of doing things. So obviously, you knew that on Sunday from 1 to 4, I was going to be in complete lockdown mode in the bunker in the basement for the Bills and the Jaguars.
Yeah, I learned you have a specific way to watch your Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, playoff games are usually I don't really like being around people. I really for the most part I don't like people in general, and especially if I'm watching my team in a playoff game. So I kind of go into the basement bunker, which isn't really a bunker. It's actually probably the nicest room in my house. So I go down there and
tell your wife.
And I watch the game and I get things cooking. So yes, we were able to maneuver all of those things, Paulie, throughout the weekend. What about you?
Same thing, man. Just really enjoyed the football, all of it, college and the NFL, the wild card. Thought all the games were great. And as far as me and you and who you got in the picks and stuff, we're pretty close there.
Yeah, how'd the who you got go?
I think you lost one and I lost one, and we were on the same for the rest of them. So, but they were great games, man, and I can't wait to get into it and talk about it today. And looks like we have a pretty damn good championship game on Monday night. And I plan on being right here at Borrelli's on Monday night to watch the game. So.
Wow. Yes. You know what? They're gonna have a good scene here on Monday night for that.
I think about Ray the Mailman's coming with me.
Is that right?
Yeah, the mayor of East Rockwell.
Ray the Mailman gonna be here. I wish I could. I've got my first ever trip to the colonoscopy on Tuesday morning.
It's gonna be everything you want it to be. But it really is.
I will not unfortunately be in Borrelli's on Monday night.
There you go, folks. You know what Mike's doing on Monday night.
That's Tuesday morning. My first one in my life. So that's how that's going to be going for me. Let's get into it, Paulie. We got a lot to do here today as I put another tweet out because we just have to tweet out as much as we possibly can. The show's on it going. John's with us here on the chat box. Put it with the golf. Let's go. Golf does start this week. First event of the year, Sony Open out in Hawaii.
I saw you doing some golf on your other channel there, and I have to say, my friend, my buddy, my pal, I am quite impressed. with the amount of knowledge that you contain in that skull of yours.
I
The
love
fact
it.
that you're
I
doing
love-
betting and football and sports all week, and then you've got rundowns on golfers. You're out of your mind.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Golf's like my favorite sport, and how to bet on I love it. I love the golf, and they're in Hawaii. Man, I wish I was with them in Hawaii this week. What a great place that would be to be out in Hawaii.
It's got to be a couple of golf.
And I can't believe they're getting.
I can't
believe they're getting rid of that. They're going to probably scrap the Hawaii tournaments going forward. Not going to play there anymore. The PGA Tour, which is just so stupid.
Do you mind if we start on golf here just for a little?
For sure, we got a lot to do, but we could start there
just for a little bit, because I also in the news there's some, and maybe you could just talk a little bit about the Saudi Arabian,
the Live Golf,
and then the USPGA.
Sure.
And are some golfers now coming back?
Well, yeah, that big story was Brooks Koepka's coming back to the PGA Tour. So he was with Live Golf for the last few years.
I thought those guys were scorned.
They were, but certain people, the rules changed for certain guys. Most of them are still scorned, but there are always the goalpost can always move, and it moves for a guy like Brooks. So now he's not, just walking back in. They're going to make him donate $5 million to a charity. He can't earn any money for 5 years in their big pot that they give everyone at the end of the year for social media engagement and other things. So he doesn't get his hands on any of that. There's, he's got to work his way into signature events. There are some things that Brooks has to do, but he's back on the PGA Tour, and he'll be playing at the Amex next week in La Quinta, Southern California. So he'll be out there for that.
And for a layman like myself, the USPGA, is that only U.S. golfers?
No. Golfers from all over the world in the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour is still the biggest league in the world.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, do they play outside of the United States? Not very often. Obviously, we have in July, we do the Scottish Open and the Open Championship, which used to be the British Open. We have they go to Canada, one stop for the Canadian Open. They have one stop in Asia in the swing season, October. But, Live kind of made their foothold with going to places that the PGA Tour didn't go. They go to Australia. They're going to go to South Africa this year. They play in other places in Europe like Spain and such. So that's kind of been their deal. There's, obviously a few other guys that the PGA Tour would want back, and they kind of, with Brooks, put this little clause in that they gave these guys till February 2nd to, if they wanted to come back, they could. I don't think any of them are, though, which would be Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm and Cameron Smith. But yeah, it's a sordid state of affairs, and it gets more and more weird and confusing by the year. But at the end of the day, and I said this on the golf show that you were doing, they ripped, they hated this Live Golf, but yet they ripped off their model.
Oh, really?
Which was, we're going to make bigger events with less golfers for more money, which the PGA Tour has done now with what they call signature events. So instead of 150 guys in it, there's 70.
Okay.
And the winner's getting $4 million instead of 1.5. So they basically ripped off the place's model, even though they told everybody how awful they are. So it is pretty amazing. And starting with golf today, let's go.
And how many of the European team that beat the U.S. team in the Ryder Cup,
yes,
are in
Live,
or are they mostly?
It was this past team. Rahm and Hatton are on Live, which are two of obviously their biggest guys. I think off the top of my head, it was just Rahm and Hatton were our Live golfers who were on the European team. I off the top, obviously not Rory and Fleetwood and Matt and Lowry and other guys. So I'm pretty sure it's just those two.
Those guys going to come back. The U.S. fans gave them the business here.
That's
it's pretty rough.
That's how it goes. They'll have to. Now, look, I think that eventually one day they're going to have to come back. I don't know how long that Live Golf can last, but they've got plenty of money over there, and they love dumping it into that. So it's possible. Look at that little golf to start Wednesday.
I figured we just start with that since the Rangers are going to be looking forward to it.
Well, Rangers are going to be there.
Only a couple months before golf.
Fire Drury chance again tonight. Get ready. And a Sabre team and a Senator team, coming into the Garden tonight that has a lot of their own. You talk about having problems, when the GM's got to put out statements saying, don't listen to people on social media. We got no issues here. You got Brady Tkachuk with the fiery, backing of his team over the weekend.
Which is surprising because they had a pretty good end of the year last year, and it seemed like everything was going okay.
This is today's day and age with social media. Somebody put something out there.
You know exactly what it was, or the initial?
Well, there was somebody who kind of insinuated on social media that there was something going on with one of the Senators' players and wives and other things. So there was something that was put out there that, and the entire team has obviously said it's complete lie and not true. But it got so bad that the GM had to put a statement out saying that it was BS, and that Brady Tkachuk to say it's nonsense that this is even being talked about. This is our room, our guys.
So we're going to expect a Housewives of Ottawa Senators.
I don't know
next season,
but look, and it doesn't help that the same day that that this stuff's going on, they get whacked 8-2 by the Avalanche. They just look awful on the ice. They look off, but they've bounced back. They had a win last night. One Saturday, I think they won last night as well. So this is the second night of a back-to-back for them at the Garden. They beat Vancouver 2-1 last night.
Hey, it's a good team to bounce back against tonight.
Rangers. I said it the other night against Seattle when I was doing the Bet River show. I was like, man, the Rangers going to win one of these games at home for once? Can they actually do it? And they didn't do it against the Kraken. And I feel like, am I going to say the same thing tonight on the betting show? Am I going to go look at this game and go, can the Rangers actually win a game at home? They're 5-17 at home if you tie the regulation and the overtime losses in together. They're that's 5-17, whatever it is.
The general consensus amongst Ranger fans and an old one like myself, and then you have the younger generation, obviously, but this is a team that nobody seems to be able to there's nobody really giving them anything to kind of grab into. Like years ago, even I'll just, for example,
no heart.
The early 80s teams, and they weren't that good, but if it was the Smurfs and it was Pat,
yeah.
There was always somebody on the team that you would kind of even have some fun with, whether it was Ogrodnik and Hardy and specific kinds of players that you could even at least goof on.
Right.
But there's, with certain types of personalities, and then you go through the 90s and everything else. And I got to tell you, I kind of emotionally punched out of this team when they traded Trouba.
That was it.
And then if you look at this team right now, and then you lose a guy like Kreider, and then you lose a guy like Miller, which I know the fans were set down on, but I thought he was a decent player. And I was definitely into the JT Miller trade. I thought he was going to be an impact
heart in the locker room, leader.
And man, I think there's something going on there. I think it reminds me a little bit of the Yankees there when Jazz Chisholm was going through this stuff and nobody really knew he was going through some personal stuff away from the rink. I don't know if that's going on with JT Miller, but it's not only him. It's the Banajad, it's Panarin. There just doesn't see any kind of heart. There's nothing for the young guys to really look up to on the team. And that I think is also frustrating. And I know Foxy's not in the lineup, and obviously Shesterkin's down again too, but there's something missing there. And I got to tell you, man, Sullivan is just a carbon copy of Laviolette. He's as boring as hell. And it's just tough to really kind of tune in and watch these guys and see what happens. And I think we might be beyond the point of, they'll make the playoffs anyway. I think they got some problems. And you can shout, fire Drury from the stands all you want, but there's a real big problem with the guys on the ice right now. And they might have to look at getting some of these guys out of here. And I'm pretty sure guys like Zibanejad and Panarin, I don't know where their no-clay Trozars are in their contract, but as far as getting rid of them, who knows how easy that's going to be.
It's funny because, Vancouver got rid of JT Miller because there were so many grumblings in the locker room about it. I think that, and now hasn't really given you what you were looking for with the Rangers.
He doesn't have the answers, as he said in the locker room.
I don't have the answers. And said more than Sullivan.
Well, Sully they're a fragile group. They're all saying they're a fragile
It's okay.
group.
Just like Dolan said last week, buddy. It takes time to build a culture. Takes time
47 games into the season.
Takes time to build a culture.
Sully's a veteran.
These
guys are veteran players.
Takes time to build a culture.
Get a grip.
Gotta let them do that. Takes time to build a culture. And it's funny. You brought up the Yankees. Yankees made a trade last night.
Yes, they did.
Yankees actually, believe it or not, ring the bell. Ring the bell, Tommy. Yankees made a trade. It is possible. They are alive. Someone's working in the front office as they traded for Ryan Weathers from the Marlins. So it is possible. They can make moves. 4 minor leaguers for lefty Ryan Weathers.
Now, what's Weathers' backstory here? Is he can he truck the ball?
I mean, sure. He's had some injury problems. He's a young starting pitcher. I'm sure that the Yankees analytical chart and graph people will get his arm to fall off within the first 4 months of the season. And that'll happen. Look, he's got 3 years of team control left. He's a young you know what they love now, Paulie? This is like these GMs and these front office people, young controllable arms. And that's another one that the Yankees have now, a young controllable arm. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yes, they're still going to stay in control.
As they're still trying to figure out if they should give Cody Bellinger 7 years. God, no. Can't give him 7 years.
Mets offered Tucker something like $50 million a year.
Yeah, $270 and for 25 homers last year. So, and I really like Kyle Tucker. He's a guy that if Kyle Tucker was a Yankee tomorrow, Paulie, I would be very happy about it. Would I be happy if they were paying him $50 million a year? I don't care about money anymore, so probably not. So it's hard for me to sit here and get on the Mets or make fun of the Mets for offering him $50 million when I would probably do it too, even though just because I want the Yankees to actually do something of significance. So that's probably why I would do it. All right. Off track a little bit. Golf, hockey, Yankees. Let's get to Harbaugh and the Giants. Because we'll get to why there's now 9 openings in the NFL for head coaches we'll get to the Tomlin stuff. Of course, he's out in Pittsburgh. He leaves. But it is here in this town all about the Giants and Harbaugh, as this week, it seems, has really ramped up in terms of him meeting with teams. The Giants are the first team that he is actually physically going into their building and sitting down with them. Other teams have met with him virtually or for dinners, whatever that means. Like the Falcons did an interview with him. I guess it was virtual. The Giants, I guess, had like breakfast with him on Sunday.
And there's
an
NFL league, right? They have to at least interview 2 other multiple candidates.
Well, there's a rule you have to interview at least 2 minority candidates.
Oh, okay.
That's the Rooney rule. You have to interview at least 2 minority candidates during your search, which is, and the Giants have actually fulfilled that rule already because they interviewed Antonio Pierce, they interviewed Raheem Morris, and technically offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, who was the interim coach, qualifies as that as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they have, to this moment, fulfilled that obligation of the Rooney rule, and they have interviewed other people. There was they're meeting with Harbaugh today. There was talk that they met with Mike McCarthy yesterday. So the Giants, and this is kind of the new way of the NFL now too, Paulie, and that's why I think either me and you talked about this last week. Like, would this be something that happens fast? Would this be something that could be quick? And it doesn't today because now these teams interview 1 billion guys. Like, they interview tons of guys. And you look at even, like, I feel like the Browns have already interviewed like 10 guys. And, Miami's interviewing tons of guys. Arizona now, some of the guys that Arizona are interviewing, I can't scratch my head. I mean, Arthur Smith, Pittsburgh offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. I mean, do you watch the games? And you want to interview Arthur Smith to be your head coach? But that's either here nor there. You're going to see this like every day. It's like tons of guys for every team. But you now have Harbaugh in the building today. It seems like Chris Mara is kind of the ownership guy. That's the point here. Obviously, with John Mara being sick, his brother Chris seems like is the one that's in the meetings and being a focal point here, along with Joe Shane in the talks with Harbaugh. We said last week, you do whatever it takes to get it done. You hear conflicting reports about everything. There was a report last Friday or Saturday that John Harbaugh wouldn't take the job, wouldn't want Joe Shane around. And then there's a report yesterday that, oh no, we would want Joe Shane there. So you never know what you can believe with any of this stuff. But it just, for me, it goes back to the same thing. He's there today, and you want to try and make it that he doesn't go anywhere else, right? The old don't let him leave the building talk. You do that with free agents and with other things. You don't let them leave the building. And I don't necessarily think it's even if he leaves the building today, that doesn't mean he's not going to be the Giant coach. I think that for a guy of his stature and a guy of his pedigree, if he wants to go and actually sit down with the Tennessee Titans or sit down and go to Atlanta and meet with the Falcons, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, Paulie, I think it's still going to be that this is the best place for him to be, even after he talks to those teams.
Yeah, Tomlin stepping down yesterday, and the discussion is amongst the talking heads and everything is the best place to go where there's a quarterback in place. I would feel, and like I said, more reports have to come out about it, but maybe I think Tomlin, because he stepped down, I think he might have to wait a year. I don't know how that works out.
Well, I'll give you that real fast. Yeah. With Tomlin being out in Pittsburgh. So Tomlin wasn't fired.
So they retain his rights, I believe.
They have his rights, which for however long, whether it's 2 years or 3, however long there was left on his deal, Pittsburgh still owns his right. So if anybody wanted to hire Mike Tomlin, or if he wanted to coach somewhere else this year, which I don't believe he does, or reports say that he doesn't, you would have to trade, give the Steelers something for Mike Tomlin, because they're not just going to let him leave and go get another job. They are going to want compensation in the same way that the Saints got compensation for Sean Payton. Sean Payton did the similar thing. He stepped down from New Orleans, did television for a year. Then when he went to Denver, New Orleans had to give Denver had to give New Orleans compensation for him. If Tomlin's going to coach again, that would have to happen. If it's in the next 2 years, that has to happen. But Harbaugh's right there to take.
And so with Harbaugh, as far as places to go with a quarterback in place,
right?
I mean, the Giants are there. Obviously, Baltimore for other coaches obviously is a great stop because Lamar's there. Okay, and then if you just look at through some of the other teams, I mean, obviously Miami, not so much.
Well, look,
Tennessee has a great quarterback.
Well, they have a same thing, first-year quarterback who was the first overall pick in the draft, who I think showed you that he can play. I think that for Harbaugh, the Giants are the best option on a couple of levels, whether it's the quarterback, the other things around it, the potential draft capital and future assets that they have. This is not something where he wants to take, 5 years to win. He wants to win fairly quickly. And it's important to win when you have the quarterback on his rookie deal. And I think that that's why Harbaugh is going to look at, and I still believe, as bad as it's been for the last 10 plus years, there's still a feeling, especially amongst guys like Harbaugh, who have been around the game for a very long time, that it is a very prestigious franchise to work for and to be the head coach of.
If you are the guy that can turn it around,
right? As Coughlin did, and as you kind of, it's a very big thing doing it in New York and doing it for the Giants and working for the Maras and the Tishes and all. And it's still something that holds some stature amongst people who have been around the league for a very long time.
So let me ask you this. Put yourself in the chair there. And it was like reported last week, and you were saying too, give him everything. And if he wants his own GM, how does that play out today?
Chris Mara and Steve Tisch and everybody involved in the ownership group goes into a room. They look at each other and they say, he wants Joe out. They call Joe into the room and they tell Joe he's out. That would be, I know I'm making it sound as simple as possible, but at the end of the day, if you want him to be the coach and the guy who's in charge of your football operations, which is what he would be, even if Joe Schoen stays. If Joe Schoen,
so it's an uncomfortable day maybe for Schoen.
I don't know. It depends on who you believe.
Yeah.
Now, you don't know what to believe because there's reports that say he would want him. There's reports that say he wouldn't want him. There's who knows. I am of the feeling that if he were to say that, and that is a deal breaker, you chop him. It's that simple. Him being there is a hell of a lot more important than the guy who's been there for 5 years and has like 12 wins. So it's just for me, and let him go. And he's probably going at me and go, listen, I know you like this guy. I know he's been here with you. I understand there's some comfortability there and all that. But, he'd be like, listen, I got a young guy. who's an up-and-coming, going to be a good GM in this league. I want to put him in that position, and me and him work together, and I'm going to groom him to be a great GM. And you look at some of the guys that have come through, and Newsom was with Baltimore forever, and now DeCosta's gone in there and been the general manager, and he's worked with Harbaugh. He's a younger and he's a really good GM. And I would respect the opinion of Harbaugh, and I would defer to him if he says, I want to be your coach, but you got to let me work with who I want to work with. And I would do it like that. Done.
Yeah, the other discussion, too, over the last few days is the, taking a guy like Tomlin, an older guy, like the younger guys in the league.
Yeah.
The younger coaches, the younger, OC and DC.
It's a young man's league.
Yeah, so, and now Harbaugh, he's up. He's considered a senior guy now.
Yes, 100%. And you would be going against the trend, hiring an older guy who's got tons. But this goes back to what we said for months here.
Certain teams need,
especially teams that have done the hiring
guy.
The younger first-time coach 3 or 4 times in a row, and it's been a disaster every time. You need to now, to get your franchise back to credibility and respectability, you need to pivot to the older, established Super Bowl winning coach to run your team. Every team's different, and are the majority of these 9 hires going to be younger guys getting their first time job? Yes, that is going to be, out of the 9 openings, I bet 6 of them are going to be guys who are their first time they're going to be a head coach in the NFL. That's how the league rolls. That's not how the Giants should roll.
Yeah.
Giants should roll with someone who's done it. And that's been a steady thing even before we knew John Harbaugh was going to be available or any of these other guys were going to be available. But the interesting thing is now that'll pivot to Pittsburgh, who Tomlin steps down after losing to the Texans on Monday night. And since the 60s, they've had 3 head coaches.
That's amazing.
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. All 3 were hired in their 30s and were there forever. This is not a franchise that goes and fires coaches every 3 or 4 years or makes changes. They are the Rooneys and the Steelers love stability. It's another one of the model prestigious NFL franchises to work for. Will they go with what they normally do, which is we're going to hire a very young head coach, up-and-coming mind that we believe will once again just pass the baton and again be a coach for a very long time with our team. That's and I believe they will. They will get one of those guys.
Is there a certain guy in Notre Dame they might look at?
It's possible. I know that we did, they signed a rework deal and doesn't want to leave South Bend. When you've had this many stories that he's willing to listen to the NFL, where there's smoke, there's fire. The right job, he'll leave.
I look good on the Steelers sideline, man.
That's the kind of job like the Steelers and the Giants are. They're tentpole franchises in the NFL. And I think it's a little bit different and this is nothing against these teams. It's different than working for the Browns or Titans or Cardinals. It's just different. And you have to listen to those offers a little bit more when you get them because they don't come around very often. Mm-hmm. I just told you, the Steeler job opens once every 25 years. I mean, it's like, this is not a job that's normally open. Now the Giant job has been open a lot recently. They need to get back to respectability.
Yeah, look, it looks great. I mean, it would be great to have him take over the reins of the team. And I do think that the Giants have a nice young nucleus with Dart, Scadaboo, and Neighbors and the defense. I think he can build a good team here. I mean, the Giants themselves, even as bad as the season was with Dable, when you think about some of the games that they were winning that they lost,
right?
They could have had a different record last season.
Yeah.
And so I don't think the Giants are as far as
they're not
away as their season record this year, kind of tells the tale. And also with the division and the rest of the NFC, I think a guy like Harbaugh looks at it too. It's like, give me a year or two, I'll probably take a run at getting into the championship.
I think it's the best job for him. Yeah. And again, I'm not a Giant fan. I'm not
not
sitting here, Long Island, New York, Homer Giant fan. That's not me. I think that this is the best job for him to take. I think he can win here relatively soon. It's a young 22-year-old quarterback who has shown he could play in the league already this season. Now he needs to get the right offensive mind to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh's not an offensive mind. That's not what he does. He's all, and some of the higher, the guys he's had running the offense in the Ravens the last few times, whether it's Monken or Greg Roman and these other guys, they're, I would want a younger, and I don't know what their relationship is. I have no idea, but there's going to be one guy out there, Paulie, who is now available, and he's probably going to have to go back to being an offensive coordinator for a year. And that's Mike McDaniel, who was fired with Miami. He's a great offensive mind. I mean, listen, he didn't do the worst job in Miami, but it was time there. He's interviewing at all these places. Yeah. He's interviewing in Cleveland. He interviewed, I think he even interviewed for Baltimore. And he's a great offensive mind. If he doesn't get a head coaching job, and I know it'll cost a lot, and you're already going to cost a lot to get you Harbaugh. And I don't know, again, sometimes it's all relationships. That's a guy I would want to put Jackson Dart with offensively. And that's Mike McDaniels. If he doesn't get hired as a head coach right out of the gate, an immediate second chance, he wants to pair himself with a young quarterback, because when you show results with the young quarterback, that's your fastest way to get another head coaching job.
He's not going to be able to wear those pants in New York, I'll tell you that.
At least not in November, December. It's Miami Mike. He ain't gonna be able to be Miami Mike. But how great would that be to put an offensive guy like that with Dart? I wouldn't hire him as a head coach, but I would sure go after him and try to throw money at him to be the OC.
Let's start with Harbaugh. If they get him, I think the Giants,
right. I'm going 2 steps down the road here, but I'm just telling you that's where there is a path here to some really potentially really good stuff for the Giants.
So we got 9 gigs open, right? So when's the last time this many gigs have been open? And there's still a chance that after these divisional rounds, there might be a couple other guys might come available.
I don't know about that. I don't think there's any other coming. Now, I guess I was kind of less than 50-50. I thought once Pittsburgh made the playoffs, maybe it'd be all right, but it seemed like that's a decision he's had in his mind for a very long time. Tomlin, that he was going to go. I can't. This has to be it.
The Texans defense just traumatized them.
We're going to get to that in a moment. But, I mean, out of the 8 teams that are left, who would get rid of their coach off of being in the second weekend of the playoffs and being the last 8 teams?
There's a couple of recently new coaches there, and they're not going anywhere. I think McVay in LA might have been the only one that,
Well, people have said that he's another guy like Tomlin that would want to go do
young,
TV. He's like 40. I mean, he's 42, whatever he is. And he's already done so much in the league.
He's still got a chance to go back to the Super Bowl this year.
Let's give us a little something about Borrelli's, and then we'll come back and talk about some of these games from the weekend, which were just unbelievable. We got great matchups coming up on Saturday and Sunday. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. What is going on at this place, Paulie? Borrelli's, it looks great.
There's always something going on at Borrelli's, and we are located here at 912 West Beach Street here in Long Beach on Long Island. Borrelli'sTaproom.com for all the information, menus, and so on and so forth. So in addition to having a really cool sports podcast here twice a week, Borrelli's also does comedy, live music, and special theme nights, and pasta and everything else. Last night, the pasta making class was sold out. It was packed. This place was just unbelievable in here when we got in here this morning, just trying to settle around. Yeah, it was packed. So tonight, there's comedy here. Anthony Rodia. There's only about 20 tickets left for the 9 p.m. show. So go to Borrelli's Taproom or go to eventbrite.com and search comedy at Borrelli's Taproom if you guys want to get in here tonight. That's Anthony Rodia. The 9 o'clock show has a few tickets left. They're going to be closed here tomorrow, so don't come down to Borrelli's tomorrow. They're going to have the staff appreciation night here and day at Borrelli's. So except for the show tomorrow, there will be no access into the building except for the employees. It's going to be cool. You coming, Mike? We're invited, So
are we?
Yeah, if we want to come down. What kind of staff,
Yeah, I mean, somewhat. Somewhat.
All right, live music this weekend. We have Friday night is going to be Logan Wally. He'll be here at 7 o'clock. On Saturday, Ken from Current and Company will be here at 4 p.m. And then at 7 p.m., Sean Jacoby will be here live as well. And then DJ TM Select rounds things off on Saturday night at 10 p.m. On Sunday, Anthony Gall is going to be here on Sunday at 5 p.m. and DJ TM Select will follow him on Sunday Fun Day. Now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, obviously, all the great food and drink specials here over the weekend. All the sports, Knicks, Rangers, Islanders. There's no more Jets and Giants. That's over. But come down for the NFL playoffs.
No more Jets and Giants.
And then and on Monday night, come down here for the championship game. I'm coming down here Monday with a couple of buddies too. We're going to check it out here. And then Sunday Fun Day, all the food specials, all the sports, and all the NFL this entire weekend. The music theme nights get back going here next week. Wednesday night is Songs from an Italian Restaurant for the Billy Joel theme night. Once again, that is free admission. It starts at 7 p.m. $21 pasta special dinner and half-price bottles of wine. On Tuesday, the 27th, comedy again here with Joe List. And I think there's only a few tickets left to that show as well. And then rounding things off here in unbelievable, we'll get to the end of January already. On Wednesday, January 29th, music theme night. It's Sinatra Serenade, live sounds of Frank Sinatra here, and of course dinner and drink specials as well. And again, that is free admission. Come on down. Should be a great night. So that's what's going on here at Borrelli's for the next couple of weeks. And then before you know it, man, it'll be I don't know. People will be planning their Valentine dinners here.
Get ready. Bottle of red.
2026. Just flying along, man. Flying.
Has been flying along. Certainly has so far. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio. From, as Paulie just mentioned, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. All right. The games were incredible over the weekend. Most of them. Both games Saturday were awesome. I would even say the first two games Sunday were very good. The Charger-Patriot game sucked. And the Steeler-Texan game got out of hand in the second half. It really should have been a blowout the whole night. And C.J. Stroud kind of kept the Steelers in the game.
Yeah, it was weird.
In the first half with his play. And it seemed like it was going to be like a typical Steeler, like dragging you down to their level. And it's just, there's going to be one big play that maybe turns it. And he kept offering those big plays. And the Steelers just weren't there to receive it. So then in the second half, they really leaned on him, and they took Rodgers' head off in the second half.
The Steelers' defense played well.
They did.
Just the Texans' defense was just on
they
another
just
level.
Eventually it was bending. The Steeler offense did nothing all night, and it was like they were leaning on him. Then about midway through the third quarter, the dam just broke, and they just couldn't. I mean, Rodgers was on the ground every single snap. He was on the ground. And that was it. And then
4 or 5 sacks for the night, I think.
Yeah, and the majority in the second half. And it was,
Metcalf had 2 receptions?
2 in the first quarter, and then didn't have another one after that. But to be fair,
he could have stayed home another night.
He could have stayed home. To be fair, I guess the guy had no time to throw. No one was open. The Texan defense was everywhere.
And Rodgers has no mobility. I mean,
he's got no mobility, and maybe that's the end for him. We've done enough. Everyone has done enough. The talking heads have done enough about, is this the end for Aaron Rodgers? Whatever. If it is, it is. Great career, Hall of Fame career. Go in the bunker
let's just talk about this real quick. I'll just make my own observation here.
Sure.
He's got no mobility. All right.
No.
And if things shut down for him, it doesn't give you much of an option as far as movement or, adapting to situations. He just can't do it. And physically, he's just, he's 42 years old. He's just going to have it. The other thing that I noticed too is his frustration, his temper, and that too. It just seemed like he was really just getting frustrated with his teammates and everything else and not being able to get it. And I think, you need to be somewhat of a cool, calm, collected guy back there. So I just think his physical mobility is limited, and I think mentally, if he doesn't have it like clean and free, any kind of pressure on him, a consistent pressure like the Texans put on him, he just was really just taken out of his game. And again, they won last week on a blown field goal. They technically, even though we had that great, drive at the end there. The Ravens should have won that game last week.
It was a weird game. It was a weird fourth quarter. They missed Boswell missed a field goal. Then they missed a field goal. They missed the extra point. Then the Ravens missed a field goal. It was a bizarre game with everybody scoring tons of points in the fourth quarter. It was a very strange Steeler-Raven game that they ended up winning.
He's got a gig on the McAfee show, man. Just take off,
he does got that if he wants it. Elsewhere from the weekend, give the Panthers full marks. They hung in with the Rams and really gave them a scare.
Yes.
In that game, the Rams did not look good at all, but they were able to, hey, this is the playoffs sometimes. Find a way. And the Rams were able to do that in a rainy, windy kind of,
There was
weird.
that carryover, though, from their last couple of games.
There was.
Where they, we had talked about it last week, they should get this thing done. And it seemed like they weren't going to do it. And then they flipped back to that Stafford and the rest of the
Stafford's
team, they found
great.
a way.
That was Stafford finding a way.
It was too close again,
Yeah. Saturday night, you had the Packers get up 21-3 at the half. You don't think that the Bears can do it again because this is what the Bears have done all year. They've been a huge second half comeback team. And some of these coaches, it just boggles your mind. Like Green Bay looked offensively unstoppable in the first half. And maybe this is where you tip the cap to Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator of the Bears, and some of the things that they did and to change things up. But the Packers looked like a completely different team offensively in the second half.
Yeah.
After dominating in the first, just a completely different team. And then the Bears were like, this really didn't even happen till the fourth. Like their first couple of drives, like they had a drive where they went for it on fourth. They got deep and went for it on fourth down and didn't get it. They had another where they were kicking field goals. It didn't seem like they were going to get enough. And then boom, it just opened up.
Luck, and again, some great individual performances.
Really was.
Caleb Williams on that last throw, and just again, and I saw some of the analysts give Coach Johnson some great credit on some of the play calling, and how he mixed things up there, and gave the Bears, that opportunity to come back and win that game. A lot of fun. I'm happy for the Bears organization,
they are
the Bears fan base, and I have to say now, maybe they got a chance here. They got a good chance.
Look, I've been saying it for weeks. They are this year's Washington magic carpet ride.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like they're going to get off of it. And I know tomorrow is when we're going to talk more about this game from a, who you got standpoint, but they're saying wind chills of -10 to -15 in Chicago on Sunday night. Snow, really bad weather. And that's just, I know I feel the Rams are the best team in the NFC, even with how they've looked. I think that they're better than Seattle. I really do. Mm-hmm. Overall, I think Seattle's defense is better. I think the Rams' offense is better. But man, that's a tough spot for them going into Chicago on Sunday night. And what could be guys who spend their year in Los Angeles, Paul, they don't love going into -10.
It reminds me of a similar situation when the Dolphins used to always have to go into Rich Stadium to play the Bills in the 90s.
And you'll hear this a lot. They played in Philly last year in the snow. They didn't win the game. They had a chance to win the game late. So it's not like these guys are professional players. Sometimes this stuff gets super overblown about weather. These guys have all played the game their entire lives in college, high school, college, wherever. Are there a few guys who have specifically spent all their time in warmer climates, probably for good reason? Sure. But all these guys at some point in their life have played in a cold game, or they've played in snow, or they've played. This is the NFL. It's the pros. I mean, you've done it at some point. So it's not like they're all going to walk out there and be like, oh, my God, look at this.
Well, I think if anything, these guys, McVay's got to watch the tapes. What was Green Bay able to do in the first half that they couldn't do in the second half? So I think if the Rams can maintain or have to, if they're forced to play a game that they had to play. So they just played a game against the Panthers that they may actually have to play the same type of game. Obviously, be a little colder, but similar situation in terms of playing the Bears, where they're going to have to probably play all the way down to the last 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And Stafford's got the skill set. He's got the weapons. The defense isn't that bad. And if they can kind of match up well, and you might get a duel here, obviously, that's what I said last week. It was going to be a duel between Love and Williams, and now you got Stafford and Williams again going this week.
I know that there's a lot of trends with Stafford in cold weather and all these other things. Let me just tell you something. Puka Nacua, yes, he plays in Los Angeles now. He played college in Provo, Utah at BYU. He's played in the cold.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams spent the majority of his Hall of Fame career in Green Bay playing at Lambeau Field. These guys have seen cold weather. So I am not. Kyron Williams went to Notre Dame and played at South Bend. Not warm. Okay? There are guys on the Rams who are perfectly fine playing in cold conditions, but there will be a lot made of that between now and Sunday night about the Rams going there.
And with that, like for me, Brian, I know we're going to do more on this tomorrow.
Yes.
I think it's based in its simplest form, and Captain obvious stuff. But if the Rams just can tighten up and play better defensively,
well,
and give Stafford that chance to put up a couple extra points, give them a 2-score lead here.
I also think the biggest thing is for McVay this week to tell them that team comes back we cannot.
Yes, exactly.
If we get up 10 points, 14 points, whatever
Foot on
it is,
the gas.
You can't slow down against that team.
Yeah.
That team has made a living this year of second half comebacks, and we have got to take care of business and finish. That would be the main thing that I think McVay drives home.
The game, if anything, helps the Rams. Maybe that game against the Panthers this past weekend helps them out with that.
Very possible.
They did have to keep the foot on the gas.
Very possible. Sunday, Bills Jags.
Hey, buddy, congratulations!
What a game it was. Wild game. Especially all three of those games, fourth quarter, wild, crazy finishes. I thought that Allen was incredible in the game. And that is specifically what us and everyone else has talked about. That's the Bills' recipe to getting this done this year is Allen is going to have to put the cape on, be Superman, and take them home. And he did that in Jacksonville. He had a brilliant game play from start to finish, honestly. That whole game, he played really well. We know, and he's down to just no receivers. I mean, two more guys hurt. Shavers and Gabe Davis are finished, and they're not going to play this week. He's losing more and more guys, and he just keeps that play you're going to see forever. Him, the tush-push, dragging the guys 10 yards, or also Cyrus Torrance picking him up, basically, and bringing him into the goal line. I mean, it's just this is the stuff that they need from him to get there, and I've killed the defense a lot, deservedly so. They actually played a great game on Sunday. And for once in a playoff game, they made a huge play after Allen gave them a lead. It didn't happen at all in the last few years against Kansas City. Allen would give them a lead late. Defense would let the team come right down the field. They confused Lawrence a lot in the passing game. And I actually, Paulie, think you saw Liam Cohen being a first-year head coach for the Jaguars and never being in this spot before, because it was plain as day to everyone watching that the Bills were not stopping the run. They weren't. I mean, the Jags had a drive in the second quarter where they ripped off 3 straight, 15-plus yard runs. Going to the edges, it was there for them all day. And I think he was a little bit of because some of the younger guys are like this, I think there was a little bit of I'm an offensive guru. I could pass. I could do, and I think that he kind of should have went to the run, stayed with the run. And he would have, Lawrence wasn't sharp. Listen, the throws he made to Parker Washington, one throw to Parker Washington was great. The touchdown pass to Thomas was a bullet. Lawrence made a lot of mistakes in that game. Bills defense confused him with their schemes and the stuff that they do with confusion. And it was a team effort. And it got the Bills home and a trip to Denver coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, no, excellent game played by the Bills, no doubt about it. I'm with you on, Lawrence, again, I thought this would be the game. He needed this to be the game to get him to the next round, to show, we were talking about all this passing the baton, Josh Allen here being the most experienced guy right now and everything else. And the thing that confused me, and I believe it happened in the Eagles game on their last possessions, the Eagles 2 and the Jags, is where they both lost possession there at the end, which is the throw up the middle.
Right.
Like I can't understand that with at least a decent amount of time to work the clock to get your, they both only needed a field goal, I believe.
The Jags needed a field goal to tie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Eagles needed a field goal to win or tie. The Eagles needed a touchdown at the end. They were down 4 or whatever it was. So they needed a touchdown.
But they both had the opportunity. And
they both had plenty of time
to do that.
Yes.
And I couldn't understand that, like just abandoning the plays to the outside and the runs to the outside, which, every year we watch games, right? It doesn't matter as older we get. And it just still seems that when teams lose opportunities or lose games, it's by going away from the basic fundamentals or plays or attacks that got you to where you are, where you're within a score or you're playing toe to toe with the team. And even with the Texans game, I mean, when they would just run, and then do a toss off to Kirk, that was working. When you could see that Stroud was struggling, and I couldn't understand why they were coming away from the run game. Like why it's just where every time you run the ball, he's picking up 6-7 yards, and it was just. So I just, I think Jacksonville Bills played a great game, deserved the win, no doubt about it. But I think, like I said, Jacksonville also took the ball out of their hands there. I question their decision making, and I know a lot of people are questioning the Eagles. A lot of decisions they made during the game, and I guess that's we sit back here as I'm sure
we just talk about it, and then there's a lot of people who are they know this stuff, their schemes and all that, and they're the charts and graphs people that have this stuff a little bit more. Just from watching the game, it felt like Liam Cohen was like, you know what? I know that we're running the ball, but I throw, and I'm going to throw, and I'm going to show you that I can do it. So you feel he came off a bit cocky? I think that he wanted to show that I score lots of points, and I'm a great offensive mind. And even though I can maybe do it this way and grind them down and run the football, I've thrown this year, and I'm going to throw here today too. And I think it was a mistake, and I think he should have kept running. And I think if he does, the Jaguars win. And even with how well Allen played, I think that he didn't see what the biggest weakness the Bills had. What the Bills were letting them run. We're letting them. They can't stop the run. They were set up to stop the pass. And that's why one thing about them is they're great pass defense. They're top 5 in the NFL in pass defense. They can't stop a nosebleed in the run. And Liam Cohen decided, I'm going to throw. And I thought that at least in the second half. And I thought that was a big mistake by him. Credit to the Bills, who now have to go to Denver on Saturday. Short week, blah, 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 blah. Down lots of guys. I mean, they're just losing bodies left and right, but no excuses. Play like a champion. Go win.
Yeah, I don't.
That's it.
I don't. Obviously, I've never been there. I don't know what it's like to be in an organization, football team, being on the sidelines, working out the kids and stuff like that. But when you put in a body of work in the regular season where you do 12 wins, and it's one thing to win a game, but it's your whole organization. It's all the employees, it's the team, it's just everybody. And then you get down to these decision makings, and when you have so many guys on your offensive coordinating team and stuff, and nobody, we don't know. Hey, run the ball.
Why are we running?
He's saying no, get away from me. Whatever.
Yeah.
It reminds me when it goes back to the Seattle. When
Marshawn Lynch play at the goal line.
Yes,
the Super Bowl.
Why, they lose that. They had that. They were going to win their second Super Bowl. I mean, it was in the bag. And then what was Carroll thinking there? And then the thing is that when they lose, we look at it's quick as a team, all right, the Seahawks lost to the Patriots, move on. But as an organization, you've just put in a whole season.
Yeah. From
training camp all the way to that moment. It's like, and that's why the Patriots and Brady and all those guys, they had that killer instinct. They don't mess around. And that's what you got to do. You got to win championships. You got to win. You
got to shut the door.
And when you see teams not move their assets or use their, the things that have made them successful, either during the course of a season or during the moment of a game, it absolutely baffles me.
Yeah. And that's what happened. And look, the Eagles, who lost to the Niners on Sunday as well, that's the pieces were in place. They won the Super Bowl last year. This was not that the offensive pieces were there, and they were on their 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years. And it was Sirianni's buddy, Kevin Patullo, who was the offensive coordinator, who's now not the offensive coordinator anymore. After being chopped the other day, that was, I couldn't understand what they could do. And again, they came out, they did some things well in the first half, and there was just non-existent offense in the second half. And that's a Niner defense that has been really worked over all year, especially with the guys that they have been missing. So I thought Shanahan again did an unbelievable job with the Niners. The play call with the Juwan Jennings pass to McCaffrey was an unbelievable call. The wide receiver pass with Jennings was great. They're just Shanahan is so good in those spots, and it's a tough haul for them too. They like the Bills. I know it doesn't seem that way when you listen to the talking heads and the national people. It seems like the Niners are the only team that's playing on a short week this week. No, it's the Niners and the Bills. They're both playing on 6 days. They both played Sunday, and then they're both playing Saturday. For some reason, there was a big outcry. Oh, how could you do this to the Niners? You know, they're playing Sunday, and they got to go to Seattle on Saturday. The Bills are doing the same thing.
And the column that came out that their stadium's right next to an electric power
Did you
plant.
like that? That's cause of all their injuries.
Yes.
that their practice facility and their stadiums next to all of that. Good. What a year for Shanahan. The Niners have been super impressive of what they've done to beat the Eagles, get to this point. Now they get another crack at the Seahawks on Saturday night, who they lost to with a chance to get the 1 seed, the last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
They've got that defense that you've talked about.
Seattle defense, very, very good. And they really bottled up the Niners in that game, that final Saturday night game. So interested to see what Shanahan has differently for San Francisco and without Kittle too, which is such a big loss because he's so good. But you know, sometimes these teams, boy, I know it's great to have the bye and it's great to get rest. The NFL, it's so important. But, you know, it ain't a given every year these 1 seeds go and just because they have rest and then that they go and win and go to the Super Bowl. You know, sometimes they come out a little shaky. And Denver and Seattle have some tough chores on Saturday with Buffalo and San Francisco. Even though everything seems stacked against those two teams, just in terms of rest and injuries and everything else. But sometimes there's a little something for being in the groove and just playing, and you're a little bit more. It takes not playing for 2 weeks. You know, it's tricky sometimes.
Well, how do you think the Pats looked?
Thought the Pats looked good. I thought the Charger offense was so pathetic. It really was. It was so pathetic. And Herbert, you know, look, Herbert's very good, and I know he doesn't have a lot he's working with, and their offensive line was very shaky. You know, people talk about some quarterbacks in this league, like this guy's got to do this, like Josh Allen has to do this, and this guy has to do that. Let's start getting on the Justin Herbert. Can he win a playoff game? Can we stop? I mean, can we get rid of his gold jacket for the Hall of Fame yet? Can he win a playoff game? And I know they were completely outmanned, and they got, you know, that was a tough game. It was low score, and I told you I love the under in that game, and it ended up going under. But let's relax with Justin Herbert for a little while. Very, very good player. Go win a playoff game.
He's hurt too, man.
He always is, Paulie, at this time of year. Always is.
An injured wing.
There's always an excuse for him. The charts and graphs, people love him, but there's always an excuse. Were New England the better team this year and on Sunday night? Absolutely. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. But let's pump the brakes a little bit on giving Justin Herbert his gold jacket for Canton already. Let's just, you know, let's win one playoff game first before we do all of that stuff. Great effort by the Patriots. Huge win for them. And that sets us up, as I mentioned, Denver, Buffalo, Seattle, San Francisco on Saturday, Houston, New England, Chicago Rams on Sunday. Best weekend of the year, divisional playoffs, where this is what it's all about, Paulie. What it's all about.
It's we got some great teams to wrap this whole thing up right now. So it's definitely just something that's good to look forward to. And these games are great. And man, if these games are probably going to be just as exciting too. And it's going to be great to see. And I know we'll talk about this more tomorrow, but just little things like May getting a look at this Texans defense, you know?
Yeah.
Seattle,
hey, that total's been dropping the last couple of days since that matchup was made. And that's an interesting matchup for New England on Sunday night and Sunday afternoon, because The Texan D, you can make the case, is the best. Forget best defense. They could be the best unit overall left in this playoff with the way that they're playing. And Drake May, he obviously got his first taste of playoff football on Sunday night against the Chargers. That's going to be a very tough task for him coming up on Sunday. All 4 games have got a lot of gas to them. Jordan says the Niners will be ready. I tell you, Jordan, I think the Niners will be ready too. I don't think you're going to see the same game that you saw two weeks ago on Saturday night. I think the Niners are going to be ready to play. I love them. Just obviously a little dropping the breadcrumbs for tomorrow. I love the Niners with the points on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're going to be in the game.
You think back against the last game, it was the Niners defense just couldn't stop things there towards the end of the game. If they can just figure out a way to slow the Seattle's offense down and Darnold. I mean, they've got because they've got the offensive side of it. They've got the strength there, even without Kittle too. So maybe as teams progress and then they face adversity and then they come out on the other side of that and they get a little tougher and a little stronger. And I think, like I said, it doesn't. You can't turn around and say, "Oh, just because Seattle beat the last time, they definitely got it this time."
Right. Oh, you can never do that. You can never do that. Not in this league. Carver and Cuthbert, Ghost Sports Radio, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. We will come back. We've got a few more things to do. A couple of football things. We've got some pucks, hoops, etc., here as we continue to roll. Go Sports Radio. We're back after this. We are back. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. as we get you ready. A bunch of stuff going on tonight, including Ranger hockey at the Garden with the Ottawa Senators in town, which I was doing some of my prep for tonight's games earlier today, Paulie, and it did just stick out to me. The two bottom teams in the Eastern Conference, like the absolute bottom, Rangers and Ottawa, both in last in their divisions, respective divisions, and the bottom two teams. But saying all of that, as we always like to bring up, despite being the bottom two teams in the Eastern Conference, the gap's getting a little wider now. 7 points.
7 points. Yeah.
It was like 3, 4. Now it's getting a 7. Before you know it, it's 10. And then it starts to. Maybe are we starting to get a little bit of separation now? Maybe
the Bruins have won 4 in a row.
I really believe some of these teams now they are turning it up because they know they got to get the W's in now with February being basically open.
Tampa Bay's on a mission.
No games in February. Couple first week and the last week, but for the most part, nobody's playing with the Olympics. And you've seen some teams start to make some moves. I mean, Toronto 7-1-2 in their last 10, and they won in Colorado the other night. Yep. Boston, as you mentioned, Boston's been super streaky this year. You look at the Bruins; they've won 3 in a row right now. They're on one of their ups, but they have stretches this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They lost 6 in a row a week or two before that. They won 5 in a row a week or two before that. They are a very streaky team going wins and losses back and forth. So the Bruins, I'm not as concerned about. Montreal's playing well. You mentioned Tampa on fire. Look, Islanders 6-3-1 in their last 10 as well, despite losing in Winnipeg last night. So Buffalo has, I guess you want to say, Buffalo got a little taste the other night, Paulie. They had won 13 out of 14, and Florida came in.
But Florida's been streaky too.
Florida, and
they're banged up.
They're banged up, but I think that Florida, they're at 51, so they're 2 points back of the wild card, so they're getting there. Florida knows that they got to do what they do every year now, which is turn it on in January.
And there's a lot of obstacles in the way now for the Rangers, as far as everybody that's above them right now.
There's a little more separation
because most of the teams above them are actually been able to put a couple of wins in a row.
Yeah,
the Rangers just really haven't been able to do that.
No.
And now you have our buddy Rick Bowness now takes over.
How about that?
I love it. I'm so
Bones
glad
back behind the bench.
And I watched his press conference there yesterday too, and finding out because I was always curious why he left the Winnipeg job because he was doing so well with them. Turns out him and his wife had health issues.
Yeah,
and he was on his boat in Florida.
He gets the call. Hey, Bones, what are you doing? Get off the boat
and
come on in.
He is so excited to be there in Columbus. He loves the team. Now they won one without him, and then they won last night with him. They won
last night
in Calgary and stuff. But man, Rick Bowness in Columbus, I just think is a fantastic fit.
He's trying to chart the map of everywhere that he's been. He's got to add Columbus to the.
He's
mix
great.
there.
I think he's going to be great for that young team. He's going and man, they were loud in Columbus last night too. It's a good fan base. So if Columbus
cannon that they blast every time that they score. Oh,
but if Columbus now dives into this mix, right?
Yeah, I mean they're 6 back. They're 1 point ahead of the Rangers. Yeah. So
the Rangers are trending in the wrong direction, whereas everybody else is kind of up and around there. And but 7 points. They lose tonight.
5-16 at home.
And say Toronto or Boston pick up a couple more points this week. And it's 9. And then you get to 11. And then
5-16 at home.
It's awful.
Like, what are those train rides like back to Long Island after those games? You just got to.
They don't live on Long Island.
They're
all in Connecticut.
It's a mix.
All the Rangers live in Connecticut.
I hear plenty of people tell me they get on that Ranger train back to Long Island on the Long Island Railroad afterwards.
Long Island. Nobody.
There's a somewhat of a contingent.
The Rangers all live in Westchester
that comes through.
Nobody lives on the island.
Rangers win tonight against Ottawa?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. And I'm like I said, when you get these guys in the locker room and their head coach,
I'm taking the Rangers
saying
tonight.
They're a fragile group.
Who you got? Rangers. Taking their strangers tonight.
I think the Senators will win.
And the Devils have Seattle at the Rock.
Cool picture the other night when they played Minnesota and all 3 Quins brothers were on the ice together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were wishing he was wearing red too.
Minnesota's kind of.
They've actually now they're 4-2-4 in their last 10. You know what really hurt them? It ain't easy to leave your building for like 2.5 weeks and go on an 8-game road trip like they had to do because of the World Juniors. That, as good as they were playing, that can catch up with you. And they lost a couple games. They played the Kings twice in a row on a Saturday and a Monday night in LA, and they lost both games. Lost, that's not an easy trip. That's to be away for that long.
I'm laughing at the Colorado record here. They played 45 games and lost 4 of them, and then we're eight overtime ties, obviously.
Well,
but I mean,
look,
4 losses in 45 games,
and they and the wild thing is, to me, with them, they're starting to like get bagged up. Like they're starting to lose guys, and they're still winning. You know, they've lost Taves, they've lost Landeskog, they've got some. Some of their goalies are a little banged up. That they had to start some kid the other night against Toronto. But they still win every single night. It's pretty amazing.
They have 182 goals for, and the closest teams behind them have 160. So they're 20 goals ahead of everybody else, or at least the top teams behind them. I mean, they're just an absolute machine. Notice this a lot lately here in the last couple of weeks too. Is there's a lot of NHL games going like 6, 7, 8, 9 goals being, one-sided, lopsided here. And I don't know if what kind of impression that leaves in the league here right now. I mean, you look at a lot of, I joke about this too. I mean, most sports leagues are very mediocre.
Yeah.
And you look at the goaltending situation here in the NHL, and the mix of defense and the old,
it's not like, and maybe I feel like back in our day, back in the day, I felt like there was more like number one, no doubt about it, goalies in the NHL. Absolutely. And now, and I think that also the analytical ways of teams have kind of changed this because they want to have 2 guys and keep them fresh, and they don't want to play a guy 65 out of 82 games and wear him down. But the days of like those stalwart, no doubt about it, top goalies in the league, like obviously there's still, I guess, a couple. But I'd like to see Hellebuck, go a little for win some more stuff. But, I mean, I know he's got plenty of Vezinas, and he's even got an MVP to him. But there isn't enough.
Well, it depends on how far you want to go back. If guys like Borrelli are in there.
He qualifies. Vasilevsky qualifies. So there is Ottinger. You qualify him, I guess.
I mean, do we go? I mean, it's
Shesterkin.
No, I'm thinking if we go back a little, Lundqvist is in there. And then you.
But even these guys that we're talking about that are playing
right now,
their teams don't let them play 65 games anymore. Like they just don't. They don't let them do that.
There's a lot of flipping. These goalies don't really stay. I mean, Vasilevsky is he's a long time netminder, obviously in Tampa, but even Borrelli was in Columbus all those years before he went to Florida.
Sure.
What I'm trying to say is you got like Gibson, who's played on multiple teams.
Yeah.
You look at the carousel in Edmonton. You look at the carousel in Toronto. You look at the carousel in a lot of different teams throughout the league, as far as, and even Colorado for the last few years too. A lot of changes, a lot of different goals. So the goaltenders in the NHL just kind of move a lot. So you do have your 2 or 3 guys that are always up there, and then there's always a surprise, either a young kid or something has a good year and gets in for the Vezina, but it's not as consistent, And then you see, then as you take a guy like Carey Price, who just injuries and stuff like that wasn't really able to kind of
I look back and we grew up with, at least me, Brodeur, Waugh, Belfour, Hasek, Potvin. Like there were all these guys that, were just no doubt about it. Number one, 65 games a year plus playing goal. And it's a different game now. It's different on a lot of levels.
Look at, if you think about even Edmonton, right? Whether it was Grant Fuhr, Andy Moog.
Yeah. Ranford.
Just,
all those guys.
Pittsburgh always had, Philly, Philly,
Brasso, net for the Penguins, and there's teams we're forgetting here. Chicago, Eddie Belfour,
Eddie
Belfour was great, and then with the Stars after Chicago, so he went to Dallas after that, and Belfour is great.
Miller
Hall of
up
Fame
in Buffalo
goalie.
there for a
Ryan
while, too.
Miller. It's just it's different. It's just a different time. And the Islanders next time, they are not playing tonight. The Isles continue, and they're on, similar to what the Wild, we just talked about, how hard it is to go on an 8-game trip. The Islanders are on a 7-game trip. So they got points in 2 out of 3 in Nashville, Minnesota, and Winnipeg. Now they go to the next leg of that, which is the Pacific Northwest, Western Canada part, where they play Edmonton Thursday, Calgary Saturday, Vancouver Monday, Seattle Wednesday. They're on the road for a whole nother week, Paulie, out in the Pacific Northwest / Western Canada. So very long trip for the Islanders. And Schaefer got a little banged up last night, although he still scored with just under a minute left to get that game to 5-4.
It's a shame he's not of drinking age because the Oyster Bay Brewing Company.
I saw they put the beer out for him. Yeah, so they have all that going on as well. So we'll do a little bit, and we'll see how the Rangers do tonight, and we'll talk about it tomorrow here on Go Sports Radio. Why don't you do one more Borrelli's update? Then we'll come back, and I've got some other rapid fire things before we get out of here for today. So what's going on at Borrelli's over the next couple of weeks?
All right, comedy night here tonight. Anthony Rodia. There's a few tickets left for the 9 p.m. show. Go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com or Eventbrite.com and search Borrelli's Taproom Comedy. Borrelli's is closed tomorrow. They're having a staff appreciation day here, so don't come on down to Borrelli's tomorrow. That's the only day that we don't want you to come down there. Every other day we want you to come down there. And the other thing we want you to do when you do come to Borrelli's is mention the Carver and Cuthbert podcast, and you get a free Miller Lite draft. Don't forget that.
How can we not? I can't believe we waited this long to bring that up. I forgot to mention that.
Don't forget, all right?
Man.
I'm coming down on Monday for the national championship. I'm walking right out of the bar and going,
unbelievable.
Carver and Cuthbert podcast, I believe, is here Wednesdays and Thursdays during the week, so I'd like a Miller draft. Okay, live music this weekend at Borrelli's. 7 p.m. on Friday is Logan Wally. Come on down for that. And then there'll probably be some DJ music after Logan on Friday night. Free admission here all weekend, as always, here at Borrelli's. On Saturday, Ken from Current and Company will be here at 4 p.m., followed by a 7 p.m. show by Sean Jacoby. And then at 10 p.m. on Saturday, DJ TM Select is in here spinning tunes to close out the night. On Sunday Fun Day here, in and around all the football, Anthony Gow will be performing at 5 p.m. And then DJ TM Select takes over for Anthony once he's finished up here on Sunday. Continuing the comedy nights here this month on the 27th, Joe List is here. Again, Borrelli'sTaproom.com and Eventbrite.com. I think there's a few tickets left for that show on the 27th as well. Music theme nights return here on Wednesdays. On Wednesday, January 21st next week, Songs from an Italian Restaurant with the Billy Joel tribute night here. $21 pasta specials and half-price bottles of wine. And then the debut of the Sinatra Serenade here on Wednesday, January 28th.
Sinatra Serenade.
Dinner and drink specials. And the cool thing I've heard about the Sinatra menu and drink specials that night, they are all favorites of Frank Sinatra. So there's going to be some good stuff. In fact, I think I might even be able to let everybody know here real quick what some of that good stuff is here. Oh, yes. So you get the Steak Diane. Okay, it's a New York strip. And then Little Neck Clams, Posalipo, I believe it's called. Veal Milanese. Then there's a New York strip pizzaiola. There's a lemon ricotta dessert. A tart, and then there's the Rusty Nail, the Hendrix Gin Martini, and Jack on the Rocks, which are all Sinatra favorites. So it's going to be a really cool night. So check that out, and that's debuting on Wednesday, January 28th. There you go, Mike.
That's awesome. Great stuff here at Borrelli's. And yes, come in and mention the show. You get the Miller Lite on draft, which is just outstanding to do. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom. All right, a few things before we go. Number one, are you excited for Indiana and Miami on Monday night? You mentioned how you'll be down here at Borrelli's. You're going to have a good crowd for that. Tomorrow we'll do more of a who you got, but we haven't spoken since those games last Thursday and Friday night. And I got to tell you, I think Indiana's
they're on a mission from God.
That is the stuff that they're doing. I ain't getting in front of that train on Monday night.
Well, you had mentioned that last week.
Yeah.
And look, man. Look, Miami played really well. But Indiana's just a machine, man. Just a machine. And does Fernando even sweat? I mean, I don't.
He didn't have to in that game.
I didn't see a bead of sweat on that guy.
How could it? What did he have to?
And then he's got, after the game, and this is the second game in a row, he's got so much energy. He doesn't even sound like he just played a football game, let alone a playoff game.
Doesn't he seem like the type of nice young man you'd want at the head of your franchise in the NFL? Having a guy like that,
he's gonna get hit pretty hard.
Nice kid,
yeah,
he says all the right things. You could tell. I can't wait for an NFL locker room to corrupt that kid. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
It might be the Raiders.
The Raiders. He is just, he's too nice. I always don't like, he's too nice.
Is he going to go into the draft?
He's in. Oh, he's 1,000%. He's going to be the first pick. And
I'm saying, does he want him? Maybe he might turn around and say,
well, there's already talked at the kid in Oregon Moore, who, by the way, after watching him on Friday night, he should go back to Oregon and play another year. That there's already been, the reports are, there's already been discussions that with him and his agent that they might go back to Oregon because they don't want the Jets to take them with the second pick. They don't want to go to the Jets. Nobody wants to go to the Jets. And can you blame them?
And what's this with Chambliss? He wants to stay another year.
Look, this stuff is so out of control. I shouldn't even call him a kid. Did you see this TJ Finley? So TJ Finley, let me give you a little background about this guy. He's been around, again, not a kid. Now, he is 23 years old, which is actually younger than some of these guys. He is now going to be next year on his 7th team in college football. He has been granted another year. He's played at LSU, Auburn, Texas State, Tulane, Western Kentucky, Georgia State, and now he's going to play for the immortal Incarnate Word next year. TJ Finley, career.
Somebody afraid to get into the real world? I mean, what's the story there?
It is so wild and bizarre what goes on. It really is. But the Chambliss says, to go back to what you were saying, he wants another year because he felt there was a year he was hurt in junior. Some of these stories are so. I said this to you last week, and I still believe it. I don't know why he would want to go back. I feel like his stock would never be higher than what he just did. I feel like if I was a Jet fan or I was the Jet people, I actually think I would want him more than Moore. Now, I know there's a little bit of an age difference there. Chambliss a little bit older, but he looks, the plays that he makes and its escapability and the throws, like, I think he's stupid, honestly, to go back to school. I feel like he could have a bad year and then he's a 4th round pick. I think he's going to go in the top half of the 1st round if he came out this year. So I don't know sometimes, Paulie, it's down to who's helping these kids make these decisions.
Yeah.
And a lot of them get poor advice. And if I was, what the hell do I know? I'm just some guy down here at Borrelli's Taproom talking about this stuff. If I was giving him advice, I would be going in the draft because I feel like he showed so much that this is the year to strike and get as high as you could possibly get.
And they're older. He's an older kid.
Chambliss is now, how old is he now? I believe he's not 25, is he? 24? Let me get 23. He'll be 24 in August. He'll be 24 years old in August. So, it is what it is, Paulie.
The NFL don't have any. There's no CBA coming up or anything like that anytime soon, is there?
No, they're pretty good for a while in terms of that stuff.
MLB might has something.
MLB is going to have some problems on their hands eventually. They're probably the next ones that are going to, even Gary's tucked away the NHL for a little while here. I think that because the NHL's had more shutdowns and lockouts than anyone in the last 40 years, but they're on. I guess they've had 2 or 3 in that span.
NHL is. I don't know. I really. It's time for another show to get into it, man. I'm going to go down another rabbit hole here with the NHL. Let's just not do it.
We won't. We don't have to do that.
Yeah, we don't.
So Indiana and Miami on Monday night. We'll do more of a who you got coming up
absolutely,
tomorrow because that is the last time we're on before they play on Monday night. So we will absolutely do that tomorrow. The Knicks, meanwhile, they are on a West Coast trip, which usually not good for them. They don't historically play well out there. They lost on Friday night in Phoenix. They won over the weekend in Portland, and tonight they are in Sacramento against the Kings, who are god-awful, 10-30, the Kings this year.
Is MLK Day on Monday?
That would be correct.
Yes. There's a lot of games on Monday, too. Some good games on Monday in the NBA.
Tons of afternoon games. Yeah. They play a kind of an all-day schedule. I actually just pulled it up. Bucks Hawks is 1 o'clock on Monday. Knicks are home for the Mavs. That's 5 o'clock on Monday.
It's a nice time going to the Garden. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on a Monday. Yeah.
By 8, 9 o'clock. It's a nice night.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. You could do the double dip if you want. The Knicks are home at 5 on Monday, and then the Nets are at home at 7:30. You could go to the Knicks game, hop on the one, and go all the way downtown into Brooklyn and get out at the Barclays and go see. You could see 4 NBA teams on Monday night if you wanted to.
Crazy what you can do in New York.
Time works out perfectly to do all of that. But yes, that is a full slate. Where's the Knicks' last stop on that? Oh, they're in Golden State tomorrow night. So the Knicks are playing in Sacramento tonight, and then Golden State tomorrow night on Prime Video. Man, it's again. Did you know, and I get on the NHL for this all the time, and I'll do the same thing with the NBA. Did you know that the NBA is playing a game in Berlin tomorrow?
No, I did not.
Who did? And you know how much I do in this. Every day, the betting shows, everything that I do. Yeah. I did not know until this morning. And only because it said it on the bottom of the game that I was looking at. In Berlin? I don't even know. Gotta look. The Grizzlies and the Magic are playing in Berlin tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock East.
Grizzlies and the Magic.
They are playing at the Uber Arena in Berlin. Who markets this stuff? Where do they come up with it? Where do they Thursday? It's just, look. Like, when the NFL play, and look, this is why the NFL is different from everybody else. When the NFL plays in London and in all these places, they let you know. It's happening.
Production, yeah.
Why are they not, like, they did this last year. I think they played in France last year or something, the NBA. Like, why do they not tell people? Like, why are they not, or am I just not as tuned in to, maybe I'm not watching enough NBA TV? Like, what?
Buddy, you're tuned in. I know how you're tuned in.
I had no idea they were playing a game in Berlin tomorrow. None. And they send them the Magic and the Grizzlies. For God's sakes, could you?
How do you approach the betting part of that game?
230.5 is the total. I would have to go and look at the games they played the last couple of years in France, and I would have to see if those were high-scoring games or not.
Really?
Well, because my first inclination.
How about how they're playing this year?
Well, no. Well, I'm just talking. I don't think I would bet aside. I think the way I would look at a game like that is my initial thought is that is a very long trip to make. Orlando or Memphis all the way to Berlin to play one game and then come home. That seems like a lot of travel, a lot of moving, and that would make me think that it could be a sluggish game, a sloppy game, and not a lot of points. So I would think under, but I would have to go, and I haven't, and I probably will for tomorrow. I'd have to go see what these past couple of years in Paris, what the scores were of those games, and if I'm right about that. That would be how I would approach it if I, for some reason, wanted to bet on the Grizzlies and the Magic tomorrow. And maybe tomorrow I'll tell you if I do, since we're on right before the game tips.
Yes, we'll all be waiting to find out how you will bet this game in Berlin that nobody knows about.
Probably won't. I'm not going to lie to you. There's probably no chance that I'll bet the Magic and the Grizzlies in Berlin on a Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Now, I don't have any problem with people who do.
Hey, before we go, should we check to see if anybody else got fired in the NFL?
Nobody else. I don't think anybody else got fired.
Any update on the Giants? Did they give them the job?
I saw the only thing I saw was that I guess Tisch sent the private plane for him and brought him up on the private plane, and they're all ready to go for it. They're all ready to go. They got him in the building, and they don't want to let him leave. That's basically what it comes down to with Harbaugh. Now, when we come back tomorrow at noon East here,
there's no score in the Egypt-Senegal game.
Oh, you got, what is that? That's the African Nations Cup. What do you have there? African Nations Cup.
No score.
And will it be resolved by the time we come on tomorrow at noon? I say no. I say he will have left the building and he's going to go listen to everybody else.
Absolutely.
Well, there's people who are banging that drum. Don't let him leave the building. Don't let him leave the building.
He's getting dinners. He's getting ride on jets. Take your time.
Take all that in.
He's
Take the
gonna
free
get
meals.
whatever he
The
wants.
free crack, crab, and lobster. Go get it at each spot. Stop in Atlanta. Stop in Tennessee. Get a little barbecue.
Full tour. He's going on a
Little
tour
barbecue
right
in Nashville. Go see. Maybe he'll go down to the, what's the street there in Nashville? I haven't been to Nashville in my life, so I have no idea. The street everyone goes
now.
down
Oh, yeah, that's true.
and plays. I don't know it. Everyone's gonna scream
Music
at me.
City.
I don't know the name of that block that leads to the Bridgestone where everybody. Go ahead. Somebody can put in the chat, whatever. But I haven't been to Nashville, so I don't.
I have.
No, but I know it's that main strip of bars where all the musicians play.
Yes.
Down there, and I'm sure why not go spend a night there? Like, why would you not take that trip?
Take your time, man.
Take your time and go and do that. Paulie, great job. Back tomorrow here at Borrelli's in Long Beach. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio.
Don't forget, remind everybody.
Free beer. Free beer. Free Miller Lite. You mentioned the show at Borrelli's Taproom, but not at any time, not just when the show's going on. This is any time. So you come in to watch Bills Broncos. Come in for Bills Broncos Saturday. Mention it. Come in for Rams Bears Sunday night. Mention it. Come in for Indiana Miami Monday night. Mention it. Paulie's going to do it. You should too. We'll be back tomorrow. Who you got for the 4 NFL games and the college football championship? Isles are in Edmonton. We'll see how the Strangers do in Ottawa at home against Ottawa tonight. So a very busy Thursday. Go Sports Radio. Carver and Cuthbert from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach. We'll see you tomorrow.